2022. The clerk will note the roll and that Chairman Look is unavailable to be here. And as Vice Chair, I will be running the meeting. All other commissioners are present. First, we'll consider approving the minutes from the Anoka County Regional Rail Authority Board meeting of August 23rd, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brasted, second by Commissioner West. Further discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? The minutes are adopted. I have no chair's remarks for you today or vice chair's remarks. So we'll move on to consider information regarding the Fridley Station development. And for that, we will turn to Dee Goodman, our Executive Director of the Regional Rail Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dee Goodman, Executive Director of Anoka County Regional Rail. So today I come before you in kind of a deja vu. In 2019, I came before you to talk basically about the same type of deal. The city of Fridley, as well as Metro Transit, have approached us regarding the Fridley Station. If you recall, back in 2019, they came before us and said that they had interest in developing the west side of the track and where our station was, and they would like to look into it. Where we come in is that because we purchased that land through CTIB as well as through North Star and federal funding, we basically needed to release the land and our interest in the land. Even though we currently don't own it, legally we had to put forward, basically it was a declaration of release. So what they're doing is they're coming before us again. They sent a letter, and I'm just going to read a little bit from it. The city and Metro Transit are excited to begin the redevelopment process on the west side of the station in a manner that would emulate the successful redevelopment on the east side of the station. With guidance from the city of Fridley, Sherman Associates has successfully built a transit-oriented residential node that includes affordable housing, market rate housing, and housing for seniors. What they'd like to do is basically repeat it. They want to do it on the west side. They have done studies, Metro Transit has, on the use of the station. And right now we have 300 and I believe 30 parking spaces, and they would like to reduce that down to the 8,100 number. This seems feasible for the parking that's happening there. If you look at the handouts that you have before you, I just want to point out a few things. So there's a couple easy ones. The first one is the one that has hand-drawn out M's and C's and B's on it. For that one, just explain a little bit. As you can see on the lower portion, the M's, that is the area that is owned by Metro Transit. The C-marked areas are owned by the city of Fridley, and the B area is owned by BNSF. So you can see this is where they're thinking about redeveloping. If you turn to the one that has a little bit more of the diagrams on it, the numbers on it here, that sheet actually just shows you where the lines are. One of the issues they potentially will have is there is a large gas line that runs right alongside the tracks there, and they have looked into what would it cost for them to relocate that. So they're already looking at that. But basically today, I wanted to come before you, let you know that this is out there, see if there's any discussion. What I'm proposing is that staff would start the paperwork. There is quite a bit that needs to be done with us and the attorney's office and with the city of Fridley for the release, and then bring it back before you at the December 2nd meeting for approval if everybody would be for that. Any questions?
Any questions for Executive Director Goodman? Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dee, could you give me the parking spaces again? I think you said we're going
From 330 down to about 80.
About 80, okay.
Yes.
And all of the property that you showed with the M's and the C's, so the Met Council owns the parking lots.
Yes.
The big M's. And so they obviously have done the study.
They have.
They understand whatever needs.
Right, they do a steady count of cars, and this is what they see, and with what they've been seeing on the other side. With the development that Sherman did do last time, they did a lot of underground parking, and so they didn't, people didn't move into our parking spaces because they couldn't have it. They had underground parking, they had lot parking, and guest parking, so it didn't, people weren't using our spaces. So they feel that this number of 80 would be sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Reiner.
The parking spaces now are used for what? And, I mean, for what purpose? Is it park and ride?
It is a park and ride.
And is it well used? I mean, is it fill every day?
No.
No. Okay, so and 80 would be enough then, they said.
80 would be enough. I believe that the picture you have in front of you, showing you just a few cars on there, is about what they see, 10 to 15 cars a day.
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
Oh, one other question.
Commissioner Gamache.
Thank you. So as we talked about the other side of the tracks that was already done, there's a number of parking lots, or parking spaces similar to probably those 80 that are set aside for transit.
Right, because this, if you remember, this is the park and ride that actually has the tunnel. We come up in the middle, but the tunnel goes through to both sides. So if one side ever filled up, you always have the additional parking on the other side, and it's easy to go back and forth with the tunnel. So I don't think there's a worry about the parking lot ever getting full for that.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Reiner.
And then this transit station exclusively for trains?
Right now it is, there's not a bus that pulls in and out of that. That is being looked at as we do this study that we're working with Metro Transit on the future of North Star. That is one of the items they are looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions, that was an informational item,
Yes.
and it is the last thing on our agenda. Regional Rail is adjourned.
Do we have to vote on?
No, it's just for
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just
informational, and then
informational.
I will ask you to vote on it when
that's
I
what,
bring
in
it back in
December.
December.
Okay.
Yeah. And HRA will be in 772.
HRA Management Committee, which is Commissioner West, Commissioner Look, Commissioner Gamache, and myself, will meet in 772 in less than 2 minutes.